everyone, thanks for checking out this week's episode of Circus of Time Review Movie News Podcast. Where this week we're going to be breaking down some of the top movie news topics that came out this week. But as always, I want to introduce the two veteran guests that I have on the show, both coming from the realm of PanTiltZoom. The first returner is coming from his YouTube channel. We can find his movie reviews and his stellar music videos. As always, we have Tim from TheLateReviews. Welcome back, Tim.
Thank you for having me, Carlos.
It's a pleasure as always. And my other returner coming back, you can find him on his YouTube channel doing movie reviews and some in-depth editorials that people should check out as well. We have Tyrell from Tyrell Listen channel. Welcome back.
Hey, how's it going, Carlos? Thanks for having me on. It's a real pleasure. I look forward to talking movie news.
Oh yeah, we're gonna just jump right on into it. One of the first things that happened this week that we got, I guess I was looking on Instagram. I'm sure maybe you saw it on Facebook or Twitter, but Ben Affleck graced us with the little video here, or just a nice premiere of Deathstroke. That at this point we've kind of found out that he's gonna be the villain in the solo Batman movie, which is good. So maybe he'll be teased in the Justice League, or maybe they'll leave him for the Batman movie. But I guess the first question is, are you guys happy that we're getting like a different type of villain other than like the main lineup we get for Batman, like the Joker, Penguin, Riddler? What do you guys think?
I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I'm personally unfamiliar with this character. I didn't play the video games, but when I was on Instagram and I saw this clip, I saw in the related videos a Deathstroke clip where he fights Batman in one of the Arkham games, and it was fucking badass. So if he's as badass as that clip was, then I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's definitely, I think you're on a really good point about like it's not the same old, Scarecrow, Catwoman, Riddler, Penguin.
Right.
It's a good one. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know much about him though.
No, same thing. I don't know much, but like now we're gonna have to find out eventually. Tyrell, what do you think?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I've been critical of the superhero thing. I'm getting a little bit over it, but at the same time, Deathstroke's an interesting addition, considered by many as one of the greatest villains of kind of like comic book history. Also, it's Slade Wilson, and like Slade had a big role in like the Teen Titans animated show. Very cool and complex character there. So hopefully they can do justice in the live action realm.
Oh yeah, no, it's I wonder if it will turn off some fans, because everyone's so used to when they hear Batman, they're expecting one of the main lineups that we've had. So I wonder if hearing about this, then branching out more, because even with Batman v Superman, with like Darkseid and Steppenwolf, like those are characters a lot of people haven't heard of, but they're going full like I guess going out in space basically is what they're taking most of these villains, which is good. But I think the Deathstroke will be good because usually Batman, he has to like outsmart like the Penguin or Joker. Like there's someone he can fight, like you're saying, Tim, like in Arkham. Like I want to see him actually fight his villains other than like getting plowed over by Superman. So yeah, I'm excited to see. Another thing was they talked about was the actor Joe Manganiello. I'm sure I say his name wrong as well. Might be playing Deathstroke, but if he isn't, or what do you think of him? But if he isn't, I guess who would you want to maybe see in the costume?
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's a tough one. Joe Manganiello I think he's a good pick. Like he was in Magic Mike and stuff, and Sabotage and things like that. I believe he was in True Blood. I think he'd be okay. Again, it's hard to tell. Like the complexities of the character, I don't know how and what way they're approaching this character. If he's going to be more like masked, like villain, you don't get to see much of the backstory, or if they're going to kind of develop his character more. I haven't even thought about a dude that could play him, but I think based off of his filmography and his look, he definitely looks the part.
Yeah, I'm looking at a side by side as well. He looks pretty cool. I didn't actually know that's what he looks like, but I mean the clip was badass in general. Like that's just a very establishing test shot. But if he looks big, I think I just don't know.
I think it would be a good choice just because he's sort of a middle ground actor at this point. He's not like, a superstar Hollywood, but people know of him. So if he was in a movie, there's a lot of, like, he was in Magic Mike, so he's got, a good female audience that he could bring in as well, on top of male audience who probably watch him in True Blood and the other stuff that he's been in. So I think it would be a good choice. If anybody else would play, in my own opinion, I guess, other than him. I'm trying to think who I had in mind. Was this bigger stalker guy? At first, I used to hate him, but I wouldn't even mind if like Jai Courtney or somebody like that jumped in there.
How about
could
Ron? Or sorry, how about you know who needs some good career boost? Gerard Butler. I feel like he'd do good, or even Carl Urban maybe. Like I know he's in Red and everything, but Carl Urban's a very talented actor, great in Star Trek as well. I think he would be a really good addition. Lord
Didn't
of the
get
Rings
enough love from Dredd.
Let's get another Dredd movie before he moves on to that. Frank Grillo maybe. I mean, I think.
Oh yeah.
He's cool as Crossbones, but it's a very similar character. Like these like ultra armored ninja.
He's got that. He's got that swag too now, like that bad guy swag when every time he's talking shit to Captain America. So I'd like him too to do that too. That's a good one.
He looks like Metal Gear Solid a little bit.
Ooh yeah.
Yeah.
Some snake action. Well, let's see. So that was all I want to talk about with Deathstroke. Now moving on to the next thing, we're going to talk about the Don't Breathe box office. They had a really good turnout. Another horror movie, 26 million. This one actually knocked out Suicide Squad, and so it just kind of goes to show that horror movies are having a little bit more of a pull than they used to, as opposed to just like a small budget and have a little bit of a profit. These movies are it was like Conjuring 2 and Lights Out were other movies that were great. They've had some good box office. So I guess the question is like, do you think horror is making that renaissance to where now it's like in the mainstream as like, oh, we should go see that movie, as opposed to maybe wait till it comes out on DVD or not even seeing it at all? Do you think it's good, making a little bit of a renaissance?
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's interesting horror. It's got a lot of things going for it right now. I feel like the quality's stepping up, but I also feel like this was a perfect summer because a lot of the blockbusters underperformed or people weren't interested. And horror is always good for a group of people. Tim and I have talked about multiple times about bringing multiple people together in a movie theater. Boyfriends, girlfriends, groups of friends having a good time. Horror is good for that. You don't usually go fly solo to a horror movie, or if you do, that's fine. But like, it's usually more of a group dynamic, and I feel like it's a good summer for horror.
I 100% agree with that. I actually saw the movie today after work, and I can safely say that this movie deserves all the hype it has. I totally believe that I should have seen it in a theater that had more people, but I saw it. This is a type of movie that can bring people together. When I gasped, everyone else gasped, or whatever. Like it had its moments, and I think it deserves to beat out Suicide Squad, because one thing this movie shows in general and also with horror is that simplicity is key. This movie had a very limited cast, a very small budget, but it just goes to show what a good director and a good script and good editing and good sound design can do, and especially when you compare it to Suicide Squad. I mean, this movie Fede Alvarez, I think that's his name, should be very proud of the movie that he made, because also every horror movie we've gotten this summer is primarily along the lines of like paranormal movies, and I'm not a fan of paranormal movies just because there's not that relatability, there's not that like what would you do moment, and this movie was all about what would you do, and it was realistic. So I think this movie deserves all the hype it gets.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. I'm excited because even for me, I think the only person who probably goes to see movies on his own is probably Lee, who probably just goes into his own. But down there in Atlanta, probably goes to his movie theaters alone to see those horror movies. But the thing is, it was like, I'm not a big horror guy, but these movies like The Conjuring 2 and Lights Out and now Don't Breathe, I actually want to go see these movies, whereas I wouldn't even step foot into a theater to see horror. Like, I would wait till it came out, and maybe if it was on HBO and I turn on every light around me, I'd check it out. But like, now I'm like, I do want to go and have that experience, like you're saying, Tyrell, to go into a theater and like be scared along with other people, have these reactions, and the quality too is definitely helping out, because you're hearing, I think James Wan is, they're stepping up their game in regards to the quality of these movies, other than just being jump scares. They're actually some more in depth, to the characters. So I'm excited because, like I said, I definitely believe it's having a little bit of a renaissance, a little bit maybe better than it did like even with the Freddy and the Jason, like they were just slasher type of movies. These are more like thriller horror movies. So I hope it continues, because maybe it'll actually get me into watching some more horror movies, because I hardly watch any, but I'm actually intrigued, and I do want to watch all three of these movies.
For sure.
It's funny that this is also a horror, because there's nothing. It's more like Misery, how that's considered a horror, than Lights Out. Like Lights Out is like the typical horror movie, and all the trailers I saw before this movie were Ouija 2, Rings, and it was just like, I was so happy that the movie I saw wasn't like that.
Yeah,
I think we're definitely moving in the right direction.
I hope we're not speaking too soon, since Ouija 2 and the new Rings movie are coming out. What do you guys think of those trailers, or at least the Rings one?
Uninterested.
Yeah, it didn't have it for me. Then you go back to VHS.
They showed every single day. I don't have to see the movie now.
Yeah.
In Rings, it's like they showed every single gag in the entire movie.
Yep.
I'm not scared anymore.
And we know the movie's going to be no more 90 minutes, so we definitely probably saw everything that they shown. So yeah, no, it's like I said, I hope we're not speaking too soon, but for so far so good this year. Like you said, the summer's been good for horror, thanks to the box office, but I think the quality that they've been stepping up with has helped as well. Yeah. But now moving on to the next thing, we're going to switch it up, do a little gaming/movie coverage. This one's going to talk about a little bit about No Man's Sky. Recently, I'm sure everybody's heard about the backlash in regards to, fans are complaining about the features that were promised during the production that weren't there in the game. At this point, I think it's Steam, Sony, and Amazon are still, like, they cut off the refunds, but they were giving out refunds for pretty much anybody for a short period there. And at this point, it's crazy to think that in the gaming world, that an overwhelming amount of fans set this precedent that, hey, we want our money back. They're giving refunds for like the 2-hour limit it is for Steam. If people are working or playing 70 hours, and then they're still getting refunds. So first of all, if you played No Man's Sky, what do you think? But also, do you think this sets a precedent that maybe could transition over to movies, especially with Suicide Squad and that whole legal thing people try to bring up, even though it's not going to hold any water, but at least maybe some refunds or something like that for people who are saying, you promised us one thing but we got another. So what do you think?
It's interesting, because the thing with No Man's Sky is I haven't played. I've seen gameplay and stuff, but I knew it was going to be a failure, because you have an indie title with a lot of back end being pushed out and marketed to mass appeal by Sony, I believe. So you have a lot of things promised and things like that, but games like these take a long time to build. If you look at Minecraft, it's built and built and built, and it's more and complex every day. But Minecraft didn't promise everything off the bat. The problem with things like No Man's Sky is I do think customers do and are entitled to have a little bit of safety in this matter. When you promise things and you go into a game and play, and then you spend $60 and you don't get that, it can be a little bit disheartening. And if it's between one game and another, and you're only able to get one game every couple months, because they are expensive, like we're talking $60 here at least. In some places like Australia, you're even looking upwards to $100 for a game like this. You're wasting a bunch of money. So I think customers are entitled. There should be a cap on these things. I don't know what that should be, because I'm not a massive gamer, but you should have an hour set limit, and then you should be able and be entitled to get refunds. In terms of that transitioning over into movies, that's a whole nother ballpark, because usually when people see a bad movie, they walk out and they're like, it was crap. But again, you're only paying anywhere from $10 to $15. Usually you can justify it. I know in some movie places, if you walk out within the first 30 minutes, they'll give you a refund, which, is beneficial. Honestly, if you can't get hooked, like anything, in the first 30 minutes, walk out of the movie and ask for a refund. But if you're going to watch the entire movie and then go ask for a refund, I don't think that's a good idea, and I don't think that's a good position and good etiquette to get into.
I did that only with American Ultra, because some dude at the last 30 minutes of the movie started having a huge argument with his girlfriend on the phone. Phone. So
that's okay.
But that's the only time, yes.
Yeah, that's circumstantial, not based off of your own prerogative, more the environment you're in. That's fine. But yeah, if you watch the entire movie, Carlos, and you're like, you know what? Was that worth $15? No, I'm just going to go ask for my money back. That would be a problem. But yeah, I think you're on the right track here. It's worrisome, but at the same time, what's more worrisome is that games and movies and everything can put out subpar products thinking that people will accept them to then later buy Blu-ray special editions or special editions of the game because that's somewhat okay now for some reason.
Yeah, and like you even said that the price tag makes it worse. Like, I mean, there's the difference between $12 and $60 is huge, but like putting out a game that's not complete and for $60 and probably DLC is coming along as well that you'll have to continue buying, so the $60 will add up quick. So that's just a whole new mess. Tim, what do you think?
I don't play games much anymore. I mean, I just bought a PS3, so you know, shout out to all my homies playing PS3 right now. But I do watch some. You know, there's a really good gamer. It's like GG Man Lives or whatever. He makes really good gameplay videos, and I watched his video on No Man's Sky, and the idea in theory is really cool, and I can totally see them promising it and getting a lot of people backing up on it. But the problem with gaming now is DLC, and exactly what Tyrell said about the same thing as promising a Blu-ray special edition, a director's cut, where it's like, look, we put out this turd now, but if you wait and just stick with us, it's going to get better. I mean, that's the oldest one in the book, and we're always going to fall for it. And the game really does have really big potential, but unfortunately I think they should have just waited, and they got to stop relying on DLC. We got to stop relying on bonus features and all that stuff and just good product first. And unfortunately, as much as I love the idea, I do not think that refunds will work in movie theaters, but I think refunds working on video games, especially when it's the mass, when it's the masses talking that, you know, this video game sucks and we got let down. Like, look at what happened with like Battlefront. I mean, people felt ripped off with that game because it was.
Oh, I bought the deluxe and I felt it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not fair. Yeah. And
release No Man's Sky for $20 because it's an indie game. Okay, it was just boasted up to a AAA title because it's backed by distribution from Sony. Release it for $20-$30, then release and patch content in like Minecraft, because Minecraft's never more. They raised the price of the game, but they didn't raise the price or put a new price on to add DLCs, and they're still making billions of dollars. All right, this game was no more than a $20 Steam game. It should have been, you know, go to the Steam store or whatever, buy it online, get your download code, download it, and play online. And another thing is, when you have a game like this that's supposed to be about like world building and going to planets and crap, and you can't play with your friends, it's a fucking deal breaker.
And the worst is like all those interviewers, like they ask him those questions. He's like, "Oh yeah, yep, gonna be there, be there," and then it just wasn't. So yeah, I can see why people were upset. You know, I just wasn't sure. And with every business, money talks. So when the money's not flowing for the company, they try to figure out where the pattern or what's going on, and hopefully they make a shift. And hopefully, you know, this will maybe, you know, help out with, you know, not only indie games but major label games that are coming out unfinished that, you know, rely on the DLC, like you guys said. You know, people just, you know, I always see the posts on Reddit. Don't pre-buy or don't, you know, buy this one before it comes out. Don't pre-order. Don't do anything. Of course, thousands of pre-orders just still go in all the time. So
there's no point to pre-order anymore because you can just download it online for free. There's unlimited copies, and we're tired of games like The Division being released, which are broken to begin with, or even Battlefront, which are very much empty upon release. Like, these things shouldn't be acceptable, and people shouldn't be buying them. I know that I think No Man's Sky, they did over like 30,000 refunds. That's a lot of money that they lost there. That's a
$60 a spot. Yeah, $60 a pop. It's at 30,000, and probably still having a few trickle in as well.
Oh yeah.
And an indie game too. You know, they were looking to make money on this, just like everybody. But this one, it just didn't turn out well. I think it's just on their end promising so much. I guess if the game came out without them promising so much or saying yes so often, I'm not sure if there was like a 11th hour, we can't get this done, we can't get this done, we can't do this, and they just had to like push it out with what it had, or they just, like, you know, deceived everybody. So we'll find out eventually. Someone will do some, you know, deep, in-depth editorial. Tyrell, that could be your next one to find out what happened.
That'd be great.
Figure it out. Yeah, so, you know, moving on from the No Man's Sky, we're going to jump into Beauty and the Beast news, or I guess some news you could call it. They released some of the set photos from what they got, and I'm not really sure what the hell I'm looking at when I look at the candlestick over here, and I forget the names of the characters actually.
Lumiere and Cogsworth.
That's right. That's right. Very nice. And what do you guys think when you see, like, I don't know, I know they're going for realism and everything like that, but it's like, do you think the faces will mold into a little bit more characteristic, or do you think this is what their end piece is going to be like?
It's molding into a more face, definitely.
I hope so.
I don't have much to say. I'm not a Disney guy, and I've actually never seen Beauty and the Beast the cartoon. But I have been to the Disney store though, and they have the characters up on the ceiling. And I know what they look like. To be honest, it is a little creepy. They're really gnarly and like dark. So, but also, I'm uninterested in all of the live action movies so far. None of them have piqued my interest, and these set photos don't pique my interest either. So.
Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to get into after just kind of getting those initial thoughts. Was like, what do you guys think of Disney's live action movies? Like, have they been wins for you? Do you think they're maybe hitting too close to the classics that it's going to be jarring to some fans seeing a live action version? I know the Cinderella worked out pretty well, and then, of course the Jungle Book, and now this one even talks about Aladdin. But I don't know. I think the live action, they should start figuring out doing some more original ones, but of course they're relying on those classics because they're the ones they know will make money.
They should just fucking slow down. Just stop making so many of them. Make all the ones that you want, but just take like a couple of years. God damn it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I know a lot of them, like some people like critically like Maleficent. I don't like Angelina Jolie. Cinderella was okay. It was just kind of bland. Jungle Book I actually didn't like very much. I wasn't that impressed with it. So, like, to me, I don't like this whole idea. Disney's making a bunch of money doing other things through Marvel and Disney. I don't know why they had to continue force-feeding us with these kind of live-action remakes. I think they should focus more on creating original content because we know it will work. We know that they will make money. Disney is a powerhouse. They'll make $1 billion every time regardless, pretty much. And, I think you run more of a risk doing these reboots because people are tired of them, and we're not done. There's like 6 in the pipeline, from Peter Pan to Little Mermaid to like a bunch of other things, and they're attaching all these big names hoping to get people into it, but it really doesn't matter in the end because all it is like one person in amongst a green screen, and while the animals or the fish or the surroundings look real, I know they're fake, and it still takes me out of it every day.
Oh yeah, they should just do all the shittier VHSs, like the Big Green, like those movies. They should start trying to make them better.
I heard Pete's Dragon was good. I haven't checked it out mainly because of how busy I was, but I actually heard Pete's Dragon was really good. Not necessarily a kid's tale because it's quite dark, but like I still haven't checked it out. But again, it never piqued my interest originally. Now after the fact, I'm hearing it's good. Okay, but like it's just not initially piquing my interest.
Dude, they've made so many movies in the past 2 or 3 years that when you said Pete's Dragon, I was like, what are you talking about? Like, and the fact that no one really, like, remember when Disney, like, every single movie they made was, like, a banger, and, like, it was, like, talked about for years. I don't remember a Disney movie that has really had its impact socially and culturally, really.
Well, like, even an original one. Even an original Disney, like we've only been seeing a remake or a reboot of some sort.
Yeah.
I haven't really seen a good original in a while.
Yeah, I mean,
they're buying all these franchises and just like making their catalogs.
I didn't particularly like it, but Kubo and the Two Strings, I think, is what Disney should be focusing their time on and making some cool shit. And I mean, that is where animation. I mean, people really like that movie, and it definitely is a new tale. It's a new character for kids to make, to love. Like, look at Frozen. I think Frozen's probably the last. That's by Disney, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was Disney animation.
Yeah. Frozen's probably the last culturally important Disney movie, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it was that 2013.
Someone angrily corrected me in the comments.
Yeah. I mean, somebody corrected me, being like, "You don't remember Frozen? That was just a couple years ago." I'm like, "Oh yes, I forgot. I was an adult and I wasn't in that phenomenon."
I never saw it.
I think my wife and I watched some of it, and I was like, I looked down, I was like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, I think when we'll probably eventually have kids and we have to watch them, sure, it'll hit me at one point, but I just don't get it right now. But going into what you're talking about, Tim, with Kubo, Phil Knight or whatever, the guy who has Nike, his son, they're running that studio that put out Kubo, and they keep trying to do the stop motion like Tim Burton and everything. Do you think it could be the end of the line, a close end of the line for them, since Kubo maybe it's not turning out as well. I've heard it's good. Or has interesting like
It's not
animation.
a kids movie. It's not a kids movie. That's the problem. Like, they need to make, you know, something like Nightmare for Christmas wasn't even a kids movie, and somehow
I still get scared of that intro.
I don't know. It's definitely it's interesting. I think like companies that did like Zootopia and all that stuff, that's probably the future of it. But these live action movies, I don't think they're appealing to many people. I think it's rapidly decreasing.
They're having a hard time. Tomorrowland didn't do that well. McFarlane USA didn't do that well. Into the Woods didn't do that well. $1 Million Arm probably did okay. Saving Mr. Banks, I thought it was cute, but it wasn't great. Lone Ranger was trash. But like, I think they've realized that because they're moving over. Like, I'm just looking at what's coming up. These are all the live actions: Cruella, Tink, which is about Tinkerbell, Dumbo, Mulan, Winnie the Pooh, Pinocchio, Genie's Night of the Bald Mountain, Sword in the Stone, and they're also making an Artemis Fowl movie. And Artemis Fowl, that's a book series that I read when I was like, 8. So that's like 15 years old. 15 years old, and they're trying to bring Artemis Fowl, and they're really running out of things to do. They're probably trying to do like a whole Harry Potter thing where they're going to have like 20 Artemis Fowl movies, but it's already long gone. You know what I mean?
I hate that they're also like
Mary Poppins Returns, guys. Mary Poppins Returns.
Oh yeah.
Why does Disney have to also do like you all know the story of Beauty and the Beast, but you didn't know the 1 hour and 45-minute movie about the clock? It's like,
yeah.
I'm just give me a retelling. Actually, that might make me actually want to go. I don't want to see a movie about fucking poo. I mean, Piglet.
Well, we're gonna get Robert Downey Jr. in the Pinocchio one. I think he's been attached to that for a little while, so that'll be interesting.
So did Paul Thomas Anderson for a while, which is
he's not connected anymore.
I don't think so, and that's probably for the best.
Yeah,
but for him, not
I think Robert Downey Jr. is gonna find out not being Iron Man sucks again.
Yeah.
In another movie that he'll be in. So, well, all right, that's all. We'll venture off Disney, Beauty and the Beast. Like I said, we'll find out how creepy or not creepy those things look when it comes out. But moving on to a more somber note, we had another death. 2016 has been a bastard this year. I mean, we've lost a lot of people, but we lost Gene Wilder this week. Some difficult complications with his Parkinson's that he kind of kept on the download from everybody. Didn't really want people knowing about it. But we know we've all grown up watching his movies and seeing all our favorite scenes with him. What are you guys' favorite movie or scene or any moment of Gene Wilder?
Yo, Willy Wonka, man.
Oh yeah.
I like Young Frankenstein, and Willy Wonka's good too. I'm not actually; those are the only two I know, so I had to actually just say those.
No, the Blazing Saddles. I remember not seeing the whole thing, but whatever parts he was in, I enjoyed. What other movie? I'm obviously Willy Wonka too.
The Producers is a classic movie, and that was, I believe, his first nomination for Best Actor. And that's another Mel Brooks movie. It's a classic. I would recommend checking it out.
I'll be pretty sad when the day that we hear about Mel Brooks. It'll be like another Harold Ramis for me. It's like one of those you actually feel the sinking in your heart.
Yeah. He was, the interesting thing about Gene Wilder is he wasn't caught up in the whole stardom of acting. He was there for the performance. He wasn't there for anything else, but he lived a pretty, down low life, not really in the limelight, and he just made good movies. He also made a streak of really good movies in the 70s and 80s with Richard Pryor. Silver Streak, I'd recommend. It might not hold up today. I don't know.
Is that a blackface? Is that we had the blackface?
Yeah. And the thing is, Gene Wilder said, "I'm uncomfortable doing this unless you get a black actor to perform with me." So they contacted Richard Pryor, I believe. This is how the story goes, and Richard Pryor's like, "Sure, let's do it." So they did a streak of movies together with Silver Streak, Stir Crazy, See No Evil, Hear No Evil, and Another You, which I would recommend them all, to be honest. You have Richard Pryor, who's considered like the godfather of comedy for most people, with Gene Wilder, who's also in his own right a comic genius. They play really well off of each other.
Oh yeah, I was surprised when you get more movies from them as in the 80s and 90s, but I guess every duo, they probably got tired of each other at some point.
Well, and I'm pretty sure Richard Pryor and his drug addiction kind of screwed him up a lot, and he died in 2005, but he was having a rough time, I think, for most of the 90s. I think he was freebasing and stuff, so, like...
Was it the 90s when he set himself on fire, or was that in the 80s? I can't remember. During the freebasing.
I can't quite remember either, but I know also Gene Wilder got disenfranchised or disillusioned with acting and star power. He didn't like the type of movies that were coming out.
He thought it was like all the profanity really was like diluting the comedy and things like that. I think I heard or saw.
He essentially hates he hates Michael Bay type movies, so he hates everything that Tim holds dear.
Tim, not a fan, huh? Not a fan of that comment. Oh well.
No comment.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's just another one down. Thanks to 2016, a few more months. Hopefully, we can hold on to somebody.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't even want to throw a name out there because then I'll get called out for being a bastard. Like, you want them to die? No. But all right. Well, moving on to the next thing we got. We're talking about Incredibles 2. Some action. They're talking about production and how Brad Bird is talking about how they're going to move into a different direction. Of course, they should. It's a sequel. We don't want to see the same thing rehash. But he wants to focus more on the characters and not like the superhero part. But aside from that, Pixar has been focusing on their sequels. They have Toy Story, Monsters, Inc., Finding Dory, Cars, and now Incredibles 2.
Yeah.
Are they focusing too much on their sequels, and is this too far along for Incredibles 2 like it was for Independence Resurgence? Like, is this too far along for this to come out?
No, I don't think so. Because the thing is, they were focused on sequels, but I think as a company they're self-aware. I believe they've said that they're, after this set of sequel films that they're doing, they're going back to purely originals for a while, which is good because at least they're aware that they're doing certain things in certain ways. Incredibles 2 is coming so late because I believe Brad Bird didn't want to do another film unless he felt it was actually right. He wasn't going to be rushed into something and to make a film that was bad. And as we know with animated things, it takes like 2 years or whatever, at least in animation. Like it's a slow process, and he wanted to make sure that A, we had a good story, and B, that we had a good movie. I don't think he was going to rush into it simply for the sake of doing it, and I respect that. And I don't think it's too late. People still remember The Incredibles, and with the incredible marketing power and superheroes being really in right now, I feel like The Incredibles will get a massive boost from that. Plus, I think The Incredibles is one of the best superhero movies of all time.
Oh yeah, I had caught it not too long ago. I was on one of the apps, and I was like, I just watched the whole thing. Yeah, this movie's like I didn't realize how awesome this movie was. It's been a while. It's just like it just moves on a solid pace. And going back to Brad Bird, he did Tomorrowland, right? And so that ultimately that was supposed to set him up because he wanted to do a Star Wars movie. So that was going to keep him busy, even probably pushing Incredibles 2 back even further. But after Tomorrowland, then he's kind of going back to the animation, which that they go back to the drawing board and finishing up this movie because the first one came out in 2004, so we're like 12 years away. Which most sequels now it's an average 2 decades minimum before you can have a sequel to a movie now. So I guess 12 years is nothing. Tim, what do you think?
Tyrell, you know this. I haven't seen The Incredibles, so
you got to.
But I guess to answer your other question, which was, do you think it's too late? I don't. And if you asked me this before Finding Dory came out, I would have said yes, it's way too late. But just seeing how popular Finding Dory was and how everyone loved it and everyone seemed to just pick it right up and no one ever said it was too late. I think we have with certain properties, like if you made another Toy Story movie, that would be fine. Monsters University, while it wasn't the best movie, it did get a lot of people going back to the theaters to see characters that they hadn't seen for years. So I think if this movie is as good as everyone says the first one is, I think that's great for Brad Bird because Tomorrowland, I hated that movie. It was terrible. But Brad Bird has a really great track record. I mean, Iron Giant, people love that. It just came out on Blu-ray and people are picking it up. It's like, what year are we in, So I think that this is the good direction for Brad Bird, and also it's definitely not too late.
He belongs in animation. Like his Ghost Protocol, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol was okay, but like his main good films were animated films, like The Iron Giant and Incredibles. He started in animation with The Fox and the Hound and stuff, and then he wrote Batteries Not Included. But like yeah, yeah. He definitely belongs in the animated realm. Like we have the Iron Giant, Incredibles, Ratatouille, and now the Incredibles 2. Like this is his thing.
Yeah.
I'm even more intrigued and have way more respect for Brad Bird after hearing that he was part of Batteries Not Included. I remember seeing that movie back in like the early '90s, and like this is like some movie on HBO, and like nobody I ever mentioned it to knew what the hell I was talking about. I was like, yeah, the little flying saucers with the old lady. They're like, what are you talking about?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty awesome, and I'm hoping. I mean, I got nothing against Brad Bird. I hope it does work out for him. With the Incredibles 2, for me, I thought 12 years is a long time, but when you put in perspective, like you said, with other sequels, how long it takes for them to come out at this point, yeah, it's not that long. And Tyrell, like you said, in the middle of this whole superhero genre popularity we got going on right now, they'll fit right in, and especially animation. That's like a new path that superheroes haven't really taken in the last couple of years here. So I definitely agree. So we're down to the last two things we're talking about here. One of the last things was talking about the Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, talking about a potential movie, and they want to have Harry Potter, of course, Daniel Radcliffe, make a possible appearance in the movie. But the thing is, I've heard a lot of people really hate the shit out of A Cursed Child and think it's either just not great or that doesn't even meet like up to par to be like included with the all the other Harry Potter books. So what do you guys think of have you read the book or have you heard about the book? Do you think bringing Daniel Radcliffe this soon? We're only like 6 years away since the last Harry Potter movie. Do you think it's too soon for him to come back?
I read it. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. It defined my childhood. That and Star Wars are my two things as a child. Harry Potter a little bit more for like just reasons of that it being new when I was a child. I read The Cursed Child. It was interesting. It's meant as a play. It was definitely better as a play. The book is essentially a glorified script. It's okay. I believe Warner Brothers has shut down the idea of doing this. Daniel Radcliffe wouldn't be coming back until at least they finish the Fantastic Beasts trilogy to do it, so we were talking a good 7 years, I'm thinking. Maybe a little bit less, actually, maybe 5. But I don't think Daniel Radcliffe will want to do it, not because he doesn't respect and admire his time in Harry Potter. It allowed him the freedom to do what he's doing now with the money, and he's talked at length about his enjoyment of doing Harry Potter, but he is always going to be known as Harry Potter, and it's now his time to try to do other media acting roles, and he's definitely doing that, and I think he would want to stay that. I don't think he would want to get back into the Harry Potter realm for that reason alone. The book's okay. I don't know if it's probably the best idea for more Harry Potter movies. I think you can explore it and go delve deeper into other areas. And for right now, let's see how Fantastic Beasts goes and then go from there.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would be too soon, and he is trying to carve out his own little niche in regards to the movies he's been doing. So yeah, he don't want to come back to right now and already get painted as Harry Potter again for the next 20 years. Tim, what do you think?
I'm not a Harry Potter fan. I feel like this is a reoccurring theme of tonight.
You're never coming back again.
I'm not interested in the books or the movies. I must have been doing other stuff when that happened. But I think in terms of Daniel Radcliffe coming back, while I do agree that you don't want him to he's really removed himself from being Harry Potter. He's now Daniel Radcliffe, which is great. But I just don't want him to become like Elijah Wood, where he's like a nobody and he's just doing random shit with like John Cusack and stuff. Like I just want you always see like Elijah Wood in these like Netflix movies.
Yeah, it's a pretty good analogy, actually.
I think it might be smart for Daniel Radcliffe to make a cameo, not a full-on appearance, but not a full-on role, but more of like a cameo and appearance in the film might be smart. But also, I mean, I don't really know the story, so I don't really know how big of a role he plays in it.
That would be a central role in The Cursed Child, as he is
Oh,
one of the main characters. So I don't think it would work for him. And he can't appear in the next ones because they're set literally probably it's in the 20s, so 80 years before Harry Potter as we know it. So like Daniel Radcliffe's time is done with Harry Potter. I will bookmark it.
okay.
Emma Watson, same probably. Rupert Grint, who plays Ron,
Oh, he'll be
probably would do
back.
it.
He's
Yeah.
knocking at the door. He's like, "Come on, guys! Is there one? Can I be in it still?"
Otherwise,
Well, they'll just do a Tron Legacy and just CGI him into the movie. Whatever age you want him to be. You want to make him look older, younger? Doesn't matter.
do it.
Well, I wasn't sure about it. I didn't know if anybody had read it. Tyra, you said you do like the book is like you said. If it reads like a play, if it's supposed to be a play, then I'm sure, like you said, like anything, it maybe didn't transition well into a book as opposed to being like somebody watching the play being, acted out or anything. So
Yeah. The play got great reviews. The book itself, not as much. And there's some moments of like almost fan fiction-y type stuff in the book, but I think that comes inherently with a really popular series, and you try and add more. That's a big problem that you come to, and when you're doing something, how can you change the direction a little bit, make it fresh? And a lot of times you kind of fall short in that. And you can look at the prequels for Star Wars for that almost in a lot of ways.
oh yeah.
So it's interesting. It's interesting, but yeah, it's okay. Like I would recommend. It's a really light, fast read, and it's like 50% off everywhere now because they're trying to sell more.
Well, I mean, we'll go check it out then, because like I said, I'd be interested to read it and also see it, but down the line. I don't want to see it right now. Like you said, after the Fantastic Beasts franchise goes another 7 years, maybe we'll be ready for The Cursed Child, and maybe even then Daniel Radcliffe will spend all the millions and millions of dollars that he's been getting from Harry Potter, and he'll need more money. So he'll go back to it. So we'll see. But the last thing that we want to talk about today is my last Fort Collins Comic-Con experience that I had. Thanks to Timmy. He said you should talk about the Fort Collins situation. And yeah, we'll talk about it. I was there this last weekend. I got to see some pretty cool stuff. I actually got to meet good old Robert Meyer Burnett from Collider Movie Talk. He was there talking about his movie Axanar, a Star Trek fan film, or whatever Axanar he's doing. And he talked about basically how Paramount has been they're wrapped around this little legal issue about how basically it's just the movie, the quality is so high, it looks so good that they're a little intimidated on the fact that it could probably make just as much money, or if not just as much, but start making that precedent that fan films can start getting real quality kind of stuff. But other than that, I found some sweet toys. There's some sweet art. So with you guys, what Comic Cons do you usually go to? What's your favorite part of like the Comic Cons that you go to?
I recently hit up Chicago Wizard World with my boys from Flick Fanatics, and that was so much fun. I don't know about you, but I feel right at home whenever I'm at those things. I went to New York last year. And I feel like I spoiled myself a little bit by going to New York for one day, but I went to 4 days at Chicago and met Bruce Campbell. I met Jason Mewes, saw a Don't Breathe panel with the director and Stephen Lang. It's just really fun. I always love seeing other people's pictures, so I was really excited to see your pictures, just to see who is there and all that stuff. What kind of toys did you get?
I picked up some Lord of the Ring action figures. I got a Ring Wraith and Lurtz, the Uruk-hai leader. And
Those
then
are sick.
yeah, the guy was selling for $5 a piece. I was like, I got to. And I got Merry and Pippin to complete, because I got the other two up there. So Frodo and Sam are up there. So yeah, and the guy was like, you want to just throw me an offer for the box? I'm like, man, I only brought so much cash, and I was like, if you throw me that temptation, I will buy everything off of you, but it's like I just can't swing it right now. Well, but the toys is my best part. I love going there and seeing all the toys and like trying to capture some of these cool ones that you don't see online or at the store. Tyrell, what about you?
I haven't hit up a lot of cons. I'm more of a film festival dude, and Fan Expo is a big one in Toronto. I think it just ended today or something.
Yeah, it's going on right now.
But I usually hit up, like I'm at TIFF next week, so all my money goes into that. I'd rather spend it there. I'd like to hit up a couple, though, just because they look super fun. Maybe one day I will get down to one of those, but I haven't really had a lot of experience, so I'm sorry on that front.
No, it's all right. I almost for the first time almost cosplayed this year. I was gonna be Kylo Ren, but I was gonna get like a super '80s metal glam like wig and like super eyeliner and stuff like that. Basically, that part where he takes off his helmet and it's just like his locks just come out. So that was my idea. I haven't executed it yet, but it's in the book, so it's gonna happen. But yeah, watching all the cosplay people walk around. I don't usually go to like the autograph booths very often, because it's just a giant you just cattle sitting in line waiting to get somebody's autograph. If I see him walking around, I'll get a pic or I'll say thanks or love your work kind of thing. But the toys, and then recently, actually, one of the big things that I've been doing is I check out the art. I never paid attention to the art that they have, and this guy was drawing just random scenes from movies. I was like, dude, gotta have that. Give me that.
That's pretty sweet.
And then back there was a Star Wars. It's like the George Washington one on the Delaware, but it's Darth Vader and stormtroopers on a hovering thing. So yeah, that art is the kind of thing I'm really enjoying when I see those. What do you got?
Dude, Evil Dead 2 fan art poster.
Sweet. Some of the art's unreal.
Yeah, and I mean, some prints, I will tell anyone who's wanting to go to a convention, some of the prints just look like shit. Don't buy them. They're just printing off Google images. But if you can find good shit like what you found and stuff like that, where it's original prints, that it's else.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And and some people are like, oh, you should haggle them down. I'm like, they're artists, man. I'm gonna give them whatever the price they want, $10, $15 for a picture. That's nothing. I mean, they put hours of work into it. And it's awesome, and it's original to most of the degree, I guess you could say. But yeah, those things that I enjoy about going to the Comic-Con, I just. Like you said, I just I feel home when I go there. You get to guess what cosplay that person is, and you get to. I usually guess wrong. No, I'm this person. I'm sorry. So that's usually my experience as well. But that was really the last thing I wanted to talk about. Unless you guys had something else that came up that you want to discuss as well.
I got one thing.
Yeah.
IGN posted a. Star Wars Netflix TV series commercial, and it was coming soon to Netflix. And
is it actually happening now?
I couldn't tell. Every single comment in the video was "Fuck you, IGN, you're liars. How dare you post this clickbait stuff?" So I just was wondering if you guys had heard of that.
No, I heard about talking about it, but I thought I got shut down, or even ABC because Disney affiliate or whatever. But I thought that they shut it down too.
But I mean, for IGN though to post that, I mean, someone must have gotten fired.
Yeah. Someone got the scoop, or someone got fired.
It looked like fan
I'm hearing
art,
nothing.
to be honest. Okay.
I'm hearing nothing on. I just typed in Star Wars TV show and nothing. I know that they're developing one. I thought like a fairly recent kind of news thing suggested that they're developing a show for the future, which I knew about. But IGN, you fucked up again.
Well, yeah. There's a new opening IGN, everybody. Put your applications in.
Yep.
Well.
It looks like it's on. Anyway, I don't want to make us go on, but I did see. Maybe it was like a joke, and I just believed it.
Maybe let's see
IGN can't be joking. It's not April 1st.
That's true.
Come on, IGN. You have a thin reputation to uphold. Don't be doing that.
Their Twitter. See what it says. I don't see anything yet.
It's this. Wait. Oh, it was on fucking. Wait a second. Yesterday. It said April. It says April 1st, but I think someone must have shared it.
Oh, probably retweeted today or.
I'm so
I hate when stuff happens like that.
All right, well,
Tim.
This is my downfall. Here we go.
Hey, maybe us talking about it will get it back into the groove, and then all of a sudden they're going to be thanking us for bringing up the news for it, and getting it back into the realm. So, well, that's the last thing we'll talk about. We'll go ahead and start signing out from here. Thanks again, you guys, for taking the time tonight to get on for this podcast, and thanks everybody who are watching or watching after the fact. But go ahead and let them know where they can all find you guys. Tim, where can they find you?
You can find me at youtube.com/LateReviews1, and then at TheLateReviews on Instagram, Letterboxd, and Twitter. And yeah, I've got a cool new direction of videos I'm trying to go in, more editorial based, trying to just do topic based. So
very nice. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. Just kind of get a little more in depth and, just like you said, a little different angle for things. So yeah, Tyrell, where can everyone find you?
Everybody can find me at youtube.com/TyrellListen, TyrellLisson. TIFF's happening in a week, so I don't do movie reviews anymore, but I'll be doing movie reviews for TIFF because, to be honest, they do well typically, view-wise. People like to know the buzz with the latest movies. I'll also be doing some cool vlog stuff, I'm hoping, with that. Like, not just boring, like, pointing the vlog at my face, like some cool filmmaking stuff to go along with the TIFF, to wrap up the whole TIFF experience in a vlog-type cool little film thing, I should probably call it. So you'll be seeing that in a week or so. And then, you know what? It's September. It's time I did a new logo and everything. We're getting back into it. Maybe some cool new series. I'm trying to really, make it entertaining and fun. So check out my channel for some new entertaining stuff coming up.
Very nice, yeah.
You should review candles. That's
sure.
That's a cool new way to make videos.
Hell
candles,
yeah, Tim.
Food reviews.
Food reviews. Yep.
Unboxing of candles. That's the way to go. Unboxing it. Your editorials have been good too. I like the last one on the Rule 6, the editing. That was a good one too. So yeah,
there will be more. There will be more video essays essays on film. So.
Very nice. So yeah, well then also everyone can find me at Circus of Time Review on YouTube and Twitter and Instagram, and of course, kind of going the same angle. We've been doing some more editorial stuff, more just taking a topic and kind of just diving deep into it. I kind of took a break from my Now You Know bio, so I'll probably have one of those out here. I'm trying to figure out who will be the next candidate for that, and of course we'll keep the podcast going along as well. So again, thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. I appreciate it. Everyone had a great Labor Day weekend, last long weekend, and be excellent to each other. See you guys later.